Okay, it's recording. Do you see the little?
I see the little one.
Yeah.
Do you get a timer on your side telling you how much time you have left?
Well, here, you know where is written Zoom meeting? There is
Yeah.
a 40-minute thing after it. Do you
D-
have?
does No, we don't. On my
No.
side, well, unless it's yeah, no, I don't have any indication on my side.
Don't
Uh,
worry. You'll see. When it 10 minutes to 40 minutes, when it's 10 minutes before the 40 minutes, we will get a little box saying, you have 10 minutes.
okay, well, good. Okay, well, at that point, we'll know it's time to start closing things down.
Hmm.
That's nice.
Alrighty, so shall we start this officially?
Yes.
Sure.
I
How?
guess. Yeah, I guess we. Who? Okay, well, I guess I'll do it then. Welcome to Artists United. I
Yeah.
am Kindar, the Tiger Writes. And who do I have with me today?
Wow. Hello, guys. I'm Isadora. Easy.
And I'm Karina or CK.
Alrighty. So this is just us more or less meeting for the fun of it. Do we have do we want a theme? Do we have question, or do we just want to talk about writing in general? And why do I seem to always default as being the guy in charge? Like I know I always seem to do that.
Are you like this in your real life?
Um, am I? No, I'm a little more reserved in real life.
Mm.
They're like with a lot of people, the internet tends to bring down barriers. I try not to be a jerk when I'm on the internet, but no, I am a little more forceful online.
Okay,
But
I'm sorry. You try not to be a jerk. How can that lovely, cuddly tiger ever be a jerk to anyone?
Yeah.
okay, I'm never a jerk. I don't know. I make a conscious effort to be considerate of other people. I mean, I happen to think that it is quite literally, it should be the default that everybody, regardless of who they are, where they are, that they be in person or online, should always be considerate to other people. My experience says no, we are the exception. Um, but I still, I can be thoughtless. Um,
Mm.
a lot of time I can be thoughtless without even realizing it. So I am being conscious of that. I try to be careful in how I say what I say.
Do you
Well,
think?
I know you
Oh,
as incredibly thoughtful and incredibly kind. Like,
Well, I mean, like it's I'm not gonna say it's my default, but I do make an effort to be like that. It's not, it's again, because I think it should be the norm. I think if everybody was like that, a lot of problems would be avoided.
true.
definitely.
Do you think that this interferes when you're writing a character? Do you think you are the same way?
No, actually, it's funny that you bring that up. I can have the hardest time writing a verbal argument
Mm.
because my characters are always being thoughtful and considerate. So I keep having to go, wait a minute, no. They're in the middle of a fight. They're not looking at each other's point of view. They don't care. And I go, okay, and you've got to, it, the characters have to reach a very angry state where even I stop thinking. I stop having that river, and then I just write the fight, and then it gets ugly, and And then it can go, but no, yeah, I do have issues. I do have a problem at times getting to that point.
This brings us to an interesting discussion, that is how much of the writer is in the characters. Like, I think readers guess, readers that never wrote anything, they guess the writers are a little based on the characters are a little based on the writers, and they're like, maybe. But we as writers, I think, yeah, our personality really shows in the characters. Sometimes that's not good. What do you think?
That's actually a problem that's come up a lot in Danish lessons in Denmark, because we have H.E. Andersen, who wrote like books that I can't remember right now. The Little Mermaid, that was H.E. Andersen, and The Snow Queen, which Frozen is based on, that's H.E. Andersen. And
Little Mermaid, the red shoes.
Yeah, that one's a good one. That's forgotten too often. But a lot of people have a tendency to always read everything he wrote as something that he specifically wrote, and not take the stories on their own merit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's apparently been a huge debate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I encounter a bit of that in my adult work. I write pornography. I write gay. Oh no, I like.
Oh, you write erotica.
No, it's porn.
Oh,
I write
okay.
porn. And I wrap the porn around stories. So the characters have personality. They have their own likes, their own dislikes. And some of them have tastes that are not accepted by society.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to be writing them, I need to address that. And I've had encountered people where people read some of the stuff, and and they're going, "How can you be into that?" And I'm not. But the character is, and for me, the character takes precedence. So I wrote it, whatever. So I have works that I have shown to people that are not available in public, because I'm pretty sure they'd get me arrested. Yeah, there's stuff that I write that is not for public consumption.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there are other characters that, can make people question who I am. I mean, Tristan is violent, he's vicious, he's not a likable person. He's the protagonist of the Tristan series. So, people kind of look at me strangely after they read that, because they're going, "Am I like this?"
Mm-hmm.
I have, let's see, I have a mob hitman in a book. Well, no. Don't call him a mob hitman. He's a hitman. He's a hired killer who happens to have taken job for the mob. Tom is very peculiar about his job description. But no, there will always be an aspect of the writer in the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it is only the most novice of writer that writes themselves in the character.
Yeah.
Partially because, when you're a novice, what else do you know? And as you gain experience, it becomes easier to, instead of writing yourself, well, you will write that one personality trait you have into the character, and then round the character up with a bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If the one character trait that I have, which I have a very difficult time not putting in my character, is that I am a workaholic.
Oh, we know.
I cannot, me sitting around twiddling my thumb does not work. And my co-scripter was pointing that out. At one point we were writing a story, and he goes, "There we go, yet another workaholic." And I, literally the majority of my characters work, sleep, and that's it. And I'm going, okay, yeah, and I try now. Yeah, I have to make a conscious effort to give my characters hobbies.
You are not going to work. I will work. I will.
Well, yeah.
It's funny this discussion because I always seem to have three characters in all my stories, and I think I was discussing that with CK the other day. My main character is always an extrovert. He's usually a boy in his teens. He's good looking. He's everything I want to be. He's
Including a boy?
Yeah, I wanted to be a boy. Of course, being
Awesome.
a girl sucks. You have to be considerate about the word. Boys don't care. He's dirty. He likes boy things. He always talk back, and I wanted to be him. I'm not that. I'm super nice. I never answer back. I use it to never answer back to my teachers and things like that. And he's the opposite. And I always have to have a balance with another main character that's the opposite, an introvert. He's nice, he does serious work, and I don't know, this is a pattern that always happens in my stories. And I try to break it. When I see it's gone, I did it again. I'm like, oh, not again.
I think I'm prone to putting emotions or situations into my books. Like, not a specific character that is a lot like me, but like, okay, I have a problem with the school system currently. So I'm gonna write Lizzie Langdale and have her completely destroy the school system of her world. Or I'm gonna write an interrogation using Shakespeare quotes because I love Shakespeare, and that was a really fun sort of mental exercise to just have two characters talk only in Shakespeare quotes.
Wow.
That brings a little bit of what we were talking in the other video. If you guys haven't seen it, the YouTube talk, go see the other video. It's about like writing to market, how much the market will understand the Shakespeare book, you know, like Shakespeare, for example, I don't understand anything that he writes. So if I come across a book that quotes him or talks a lot about him, I'm like, what? I need
Well, yeah,
prior
you're
knowledge.
gonna need the book will have to provide context. You know, unless the confusion is the point that, you know, that is looking to be made in using that type of language at that moment.
Well, the thing is, if you say not till a hot January, that is a Shakespeare quote, but it's also modern enough that people will understand.
Mm-hmm.
So small one-line quotes taken out of context can be more easily understood than a whole monologue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The other type of character that I always write, I told you about you, it's the mentor. Like it's always an older character that tells the two boys how to go about life, and is kind but is also harsh sometimes, you know. And I think there's a little bit of Freud here. The ego, ed, id, né? And super
Id.
ego, is that in English? Is that ego, ID, and super
Yep.
ego?
Well, ID we pronounce it id. The
Id.
id.
Oh, that's why that's why I said id, and then I thought it wasn't id. Okay, id. Yeah.
Yeah. I will often have a mentor character also in a book, but what I like doing with my mentor character is make him a monster of some sort.
No.
In inheriting the line, the hired killer I was talking about, he plays the role of mentor. He's the one who takes my main character, Denton, and every so often reminds him that he's supposed to be the good guy. Tom is the bad guy. Tom is the killer. Denton is supposed to be the good guy. He doesn't go and threaten to kill other people and then almost carry through with them. And I like doing that. I like taking the character, a type of character that you would not expect to see as a mentor. That's why I call them monsters. Like they may not be werewolves, but they'll be characters that when you read about them, you kind of go, those are not people I want to hang around with. And then they'll be the ones with the words of wisdom.
That's
kind of cool, really.
Yeah.
Wisdom from unexpected places. I think I have. I was going over my books in my head. I'm like, I have one mentor character in everything I've ever written, because I think Dumbledore kind of ruined the whole mentor thing for me, because I'm like, no.
We will get in this discussion, or we will let go of it.
Well, I think one of the challenge as a writer is to ensure that the role we're given to the characters aren't so obvious that people can just point and go, oh, mentor, sidekick, damsel in distress. Our job is to blend the roles a little bit more, so that, sometimes the sidekick is the person in distress. Sometimes the damsel in distress is actually the one who saves the guy. We don't have to, because you can play to the tropes. But I think that for me as a reader, when I can start pointing who's what in the story loses a little bit of the enjoyment.
I know Isa and I have been watching Doctor Who, and I know Kinder knows Doctor Who too.
Oh, yes.
So all of us here know who Russell T Davies is.
Yes.
He wrote the first few seasons of Doctor Who. And in the Torchwood, the spin-off of Doctor Who, there's actually, I think it's the first series, where him and John Barrowman, who plays Jack Harkness, made these little introductions. And like, in this episode, this thing is gonna happen. And John Barrowman did one where he said, and in this one, someone's gonna die. I'm not gonna tell you who, you'll have to watch and find out. And silly me took that as a challenge. So I went over every character in that series. I was like, yeah, that's not gonna be that person, that person's definitely gonna survive. And in the end, like, after 2 minutes or something, I was like, yep, that character's gonna die. Not because of tropes or anything, but because I had gotten so used to Russell T Davies' way of writing and had that one little nugget of information that someone was gonna die, that I was just like, yeah, I know now.
Oh no.
Did that remove the enjoyment of the episode?
I think it changed the enjoyment, because I was no longer like, okay, I gotta watch this episode. I was like, okay, I gotta find out if I was right. And I was.
Yeah.
So that made me really happy that I was right.
I tend to I reflexively point out who the killer is when I watch procedurals.
Me and my dad do that too.
Because they're
so
formulaic that once you understand the formula, you can go, okay, this is the first 5 minutes. This guy is obviously the killer, not him. This guy is the next victim. This guy is just walking on, making one comment that's relevant. There we go. There's the killer. Like, literally, it's always that one character that just walks on is related to what's going on, but they go out of their way to make him seem insignificant. Because they don't want you to guess that it's him, but it's so formulaic.
I kind of want to join in on that, because my dad and I have like a competition of who can name the killer first. So we both really do that a lot. And then I watched Broadchurch, and I went downstairs and I told my dad, okay, here's one where you'll never guess who the killer is. and he legit binged watched it for the first time in his life. Watched all the series in one go and was like, "You have series 2 too, right?" So I had to go up and fetch that. So I
Yeah,
recommend that to you, Kinder.
I didn't. I need to get that. I haven't seen that one. Um, they made an American version of it that I know.
In which they
And
changed the killer so that people wouldn't know.
well, I mean, okay. Speaking of this, I actually have no real problem with adaptations. I know a lot of people do, where especially where you take a UK show, a French show, a Brazilian show, and they make an American version of it. I have no problems with that myself. I'm not a. I don't usually watch them because I don't know. I don't really care. And I'm sorry. Oh,
Tava rindo.
and
Was laughing.
and and the fact that they change how the server is, again, I don't have a problem. Like, if it's an adaptation, to me it's a inspired by story rather than this is a copy of. When I catch Broadchurch, I will definitely catch the original. If for no other, well, I mean, I say that the only exception I will do is for British humor. It doesn't work for me.
Really?
I've watched British shows here and there. There was Misfits, which I love, but the humor never worked for me. Like, I could not. I knew that there were places where it was supposed to be funny, but it wasn't for me. Like, I just don't.
I'm shocked. I'm the opposite. I can't watch American humor because it's so in your face. Like everybody's screaming, everybody's cursing each other, and I can't. Too many lights and colors, pink and things in the background. And British humor is like so sarcastic and so chill, and they drink tea while they are telling you that you suck, but you don't realize that because it's too sarcastic. I love it.
Okay.
I kind of want to comment on the whole adaptation thing
Hmm.
because as as a Dane, as someone who grew up with a lot of Danish culture, obviously, seeing what Americans sometimes do to our cultural heritage, it makes my blood boil. Like
Yeah,
the Little
I can
Mermaid
understand that. I can
married the
understand.
prince. Seriously, that's no. That story was about her learning to love herself, not needing some guy to save her.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
that
can't stand the
is
Little Mermaid. I can't
that's
stand it.
a an American male power fantasy, and most of what Disney turned the fairy tales into are that. You
Yeah,
know,
and they
Especially in
did
the
because
that with
past.
so much of my culture. Like even just Marvel and the whole Loki
yeah,
and Thor thing. That makes me so angry because Loki was like a childhood hero of mine, and Marvel turned him stupid,
Yeah.
basically. So a good adaptation, I don't mind, but people coming in and cashing out on my cultural heritage or history, that makes me
yeah,
furious.
no, I agree with you on that. I agree with you. From being the one who is adapted is probably not the same thing as an outsider watching the adaptation being made. Like you say, with Little Mermaid, I saw the adaptation and I knew the original fairy tale, and I saw the differences, but it's not my heritage that's being changed. So I watched it and I went, okay, that's interesting. You know, uh, I'm also somebody that's not very attached to heritage.
Mhm.
Um, like like Quebec, which is the province in Canada I'm from, is very big on the Quebec heritage, and I look at it and I'm going, what heritage? What Quebec heritage?
Yeah,
Um,
same.
it's but this is a me thing, I don't get attached.
I
But
think
no, yeah, I
I,
can definitely see how offensive it can be. Um,
I think specifically because in my eyes they made it worse. Like the Little Mermaid was turned into a love story, not a self-love story. Or Loki was turned into a villain, kind of, and his intelligence was taken away from him. Um, and I grew up watching Loki basically run labs around Thor intelligence wise, and I loved him because of that. Because you were always told that the big strong guy is the one that's the hero, the one you should root for, everything like that. And then here comes Loki, who's like scrawny and cross dresses with pleasure, and he can do pretty much anything. He never follows the rules, and he's so much smarter. He can do whatever he wants, and none of the other
Mhm.
heroes or the ones you're supposed to look up to can really stop him. So that was, for once, power in a character I could relate to.
Mhm.
So
I
seeing that power taken away from him is just like feeling like I'm powerless again, in a way.
This made me think that you should write a story. I love this. You should write, like not me, you. You should write a story like The Little Mermaid, the original one meets the Little Mermaid from Disney. Because I don't know the original tale, and the Disney tale, like I don't get it. I don't get it why she would change her world, literally, to be with a guy. She leaves everything back, go away, changes herself to be for prince.
well,
We
but this is
have 10
again,
minutes, guys. 10
yep,
minutes.
yeah, I saw the timer. Okay,
Okay.
well, I mean, just to address that, this is why I was saying it is an American male power fantasy, because that is what the American male, and I'm putting this in quote with the TM next to it. I don't want every guy in the US to come bashing at my door.
I'm not like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, that is what the typical American male wants. He wants a woman that will completely transform herself for his benefit, that will
Mhm,
abandon her identity for him.
mhm,
You know, and these are the men in power
mhm.
in places like Disney and Hollywood. So that's why, you know, you have so many of those stories. And that is why it is considered, quote unquote, a love story.
That was what was so beautiful about the original, because she started out on this journey about changing herself and doing everything she could to get the man. And then she didn't get the man, and she was like, well, basically, she died and was
Yeah.
turned into foam on the water and met nymphs or fairies or something. I can't remember the original word. But it turned from her changing everything about herself for the sake of a man to her learning to love herself and living happily ever after with friends.
Oh my god. I wish I knew this story because I had the hate of Ariel and the Little Mermaid from I have it since I was a child. I always hated it. I was like, just dumb.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, but this is, this is Disneyfied fairy tales.
Yeah, but I didn't know the original. Like I
Yeah,
still don't know.
not
Just
many not many people know the original because
yeah,
Disney became the original
exactly.
as far as many people concerned, because that's the one they grew up on, that's the one that was popular. If you ever get a chance, look up Grimm's fairy tales. Like,
Yeah.
that's where most of them come from.
Hmm.
They are not pretty, but
No.
in a lot of them, the women have a lot more power than the men.
Hmm.
If you look at those original fairy tales, like, they're not you know, a lot of them have the woman where, you know, she's a lot smarter, she's a lot more in control. You know, she's not
Mhm.
always the damsel in distress.
I just remembered another story Shakespeare did, and I kind of want to bring that up too because he was not sexist. Like, he didn't just give power to the women and take it from the men. He also had a story about a rich young prince who pretended to be a beggar to get closer to a princess and see if she was really worth his love. And she was snobby and like, no, I don't want you, next. And then, well, I mixed up that. I wasn't proud of it. Basically, she was a snob, he was a prince, but pretended to be a beggar. And in the end, he rejected her.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like you. Rachel is snob. Rachel is mug. I deserve better. Bye.
Like, he was in love with the idea of her, then he got to know her, and he was like,
Mhm.
no, you can sell
Yeah.
your vote.
Yeah, no, it's
I think that I have problem writing girls because no offense, Kinder, but I find like so much harder to write girls because I feel like I own them uh so much more than I owe the boys, you know. I think it's much easier to write a boy. It's simple and that's why I only have boys.
why would I
I
be
know I have to
offended?
fix that, but I think maybe I'm not a writer well developed enough to write a girl in the right way.
Why would I be offended?
Because you're a boy.
Yeah. And
I said that boys are more simple to write and think.
yes, and you seem to think you're wrong.
No, I just don't want to get anybody offended here.
Yeah, no,
Especially
I mean,
Am I the only
for
one of us
me,
who
I mean,
enjoys writing
there's a
females?
reason I don't have women as main characters. I think so.
yeah, you're the only one.
We'll have
CK.
to ask the others when they.
True.
Well, the thing is, it's not that I don't enjoy writing them. Like, I actually go out of my way to make sure there are women in all my stories because I do have a habit, like you, Isadora, of not putting women in my story. Um,
Kinder.
so I make sure they're there, but I will not because I don't believe that I can do them justice.
Exactly,
You know,
same here.
so
Do you do it like Tolkien then? I read somewhere someone who like analyzed his way of writing female characters. Like, he didn't have a lot of them, but the ones he did have weren't like just pretty lambs. There
Yeah.
were depth to them and they
well,
had character.
that's what I try to do, but I don't go in their head. They're always from the point of view of somebody else because the moment I go in their head, I'm in trouble because now I have to have them think properly, and I don't want to go there. I'm not.
I
I feel like if I had woman as the main characters, there wouldn't be a problem because they would talk and solve it, and in 10 pages the book was gone. If for example, in Waxton School, if they were girls, they would like, why are you ignoring me? It's because I don't like the way you acted. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, let's hug. Okay, finish. They talk. As the boys, they're like, he doesn't like me anymore and I hate him. I hate him too. I'll never talk to him again. And then they proceed to destroy the world because they don't talk.
All righty, we're down to under 3 minutes, so I think
Yeah.
we should close this off. Which I'm horrible to do, so I will simply say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye. See you next time.
next time. Yeah?
Yeah.
Ok, bye.
Bye.
Deixa eu ver aqui.